Are you sure?
Here's the 30-second lesson on what legends know. Never ask a bride why she's getting married. Don't wear a skirt on a windy day. Deodorant is not a shower. Don't sniff chili flakes. And don't forget, saving is not investing. Legends don't just save, they invest in mutual funds. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
We finally have the list of portfolios for the Council of Ministers for Modi 3.0 as it's called. Now, this is the biggest Council of Ministers since 2014. In fact, if you see the numbers, 2014, 2019 and 2024, numbers have risen. Numbers have risen, which is also indicative of the fact that this is now truly a coalition government. On paper, all three have been NDA governments, but earlier there was no particular need to accommodate other partners because BJP had a majority of its own. This time there's been need to accommodate partners, and that's why you have many more ministers. However, what's important about this new cabinet, also in terms of allocation of portfolios, is that if you ask me what is the headline, I would have been at a loss, scratched my head. I said, actually, I don't think there is a headline. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? Now, if you go back and see a few episodes of Cut The Clutter, since these election results came out or they began coming out and there was concern and there were anxieties, we've been saying again and again that this will be a cabinet or a government of great wide continuity. Because whatever it is, BJP has sufficient numbers to call the shots. There is no ally who can demand anything more than maybe one cabinet position, couple of MOS positions. But again, nobody is in a position to demand a key ministry, and that's exactly what has happened. Again, we had said that the key ministries, particularly the Cabinet Committee on Security, will remain the same. So you know what? When you get it right, there is no harm occasionally in flaunting it. So we've said it thrice over the past week that CCS will remain the same, and CCS is the same. So this is a cabinet of continuity. Good thing or a bad thing? If you ask me to look for a headline, I am a journalist. I would always like a headline. So if somebody senior had been dropped, or if there was some radical change at the CCS level or at other key ministry levels, or some other ministers after having been elected had been dropped, or some new ones inducted in key positions, that would have been a headline. That is not there. This is a cabinet of continuity. What's the larger message from Prime Minister Modi? The larger message seems to me to be that my government has done all right. My government functioned all right. If my numbers have gone down, if the seat numbers have gone down for the BJP, that may be the fault of the party, the organization, the campaign, etc. This is not a vote on my performance. So voters are not punishing my party, my government for its performance. The voters may be punishing my party for some complaints that they might have, but they are not punishing my government. Because if we had accepted the idea, if this loss of seats for the BJP, the loss of 63 seats for the BJP, if it was because of non-performance or underperformance by his government in many areas, then we would have seen bigger changes in the cabinet. That hasn't happened. So Cabinet Committee on Security is the same and the other key ministers are the same. Now, if you look at the Council of Ministers, you look at the first 30. I'm not looking at all of them. A few things stand out. Now, one thing, if you've been following Cut The Clutter since 2019, you might have noted that I have said repeatedly that BJP has a very good HR policy, a very good human resources policy. So people rise within the BJP. And one of the examples I had used going back was that if you looked at the BJP cabinet of members when they were being sworn in on the stage at Rashtrapati Bhavan, you will find so many of them who were former party presidents. So Amit Shah, party president; Rajnath Singh, party president; Nitin Gadkari, party president; earlier Venkaiah Naidu, party president. Now that continues now. Now if you see the current cabinet, the new cabinet, JP Nadda, former party president. So you have four of the top five, that is Rajnath Singh, Amit Shah, Nitin Gadkari and JP Nadda are all four former party presidents. Of course, Mr. Modi is at the top. He's not a former party president, but four of the top ministers are party presidents. So to that extent, that HR policy has been. However, I see some issues and arguments and questions about how this HR policy has evolved, because a good HR policy would also mean that people should grow. So look at the people who haven't grown. Even if you discount these top people, that is Rajnath Singh, Amit Shah, after all, Minister of Defense, Minister of Home Affairs, then there is the Prime Minister, so how much can you grow? But Nitin Gadkari, he had Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, he still has Ministry of Road Transport and Highways after almost 10 years. In fact, in the past, he also had shipping, MSME also at some point of time. So he remains with the same truncated portfolio. So there is no growth for him. Again, if you see Jagat Prakash Nadda was health minister in the first Modi cabinet, that is Modi 1.0. He was health minister then he has completed a double term as president of the party, president of the BJP, and is back to holding the position he held in the cabinet in the past. So that also is not something you can call growth. Again, Nirmala Sitharaman, Subramaniam Jaishankar, you would say that they are specialists in their areas and they've risen to a certain level. How much higher can they go? But Piyush Goyal retains the same ministry as before, no growth. Dharmendra Pradhan, Ministry of Education. Now, all of them, I'm sure, are happy that they've got these key ministries. But if you look at it purely in HR terms, I find large areas in this cabinet which denote no growth. Sarbanand Sonowal, the same portfolio. So, continuity but no growth. Prahlad Joshi, Minister of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution and New and Renewable Energy. He had coal and mines earlier. So, in fact, if anything, this is a little bit of a slide back for him. And similarly, it applies to many others. Bhupinder Yadav, Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change. He had this earlier also, but he had labor earlier, which has been taken away. So certainly no growth. Gajendra Singh Shekhawat had Jal Shakti earlier, now only Culture and Minister of Tourism. So not only no growth, but a key portfolio from him has been taken away and given to C.R. Patil. C.R. Patil is a loyalist of the party and also of the Prime Minister and the Home Minister. He was until now, or currently he is, the chief of the BJP in Gujarat. So a very vital position. Obviously, there will be a successor now. So these are the larger points. Mansukh Mandaviya is another one who's not doing better than before. That is, he had health ministry earlier, now health has gone. Probably because JP Nadda had to be accommodated. He just has labor and employment now. Labor has gone away from Bhupinder Yadav. So all these adjustments have been made. There are too few people showing growth. In this situation, some things stand out. Because if you look at growth, if you want to see growth, particularly striking growth, then I have to come to Ashwini Vaishnaw. Ashwini Vaishnaw has shed one ministry. He had multiple portfolios earlier. He has now shed telecom. He retains electronics and information and technology, and vitally railways as well. That's a heavyweight ministry. There was a lot of speculation that JDU will demand railways, etc. But no, he retains railways. But he's been given a very important ministry, and that is the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. That ministry has been vacated because Anurag Thakur, who had that job, he has not been inducted in this Council of Ministers. Now, this is also a rare occasion, something that you would normally not expect a BJP government to do, that they have given I&B ministry to a non-Sangathan person, to a non-RSS person. That's a change. And that also shows you whose star is on the rise in the party. That said, let me mention a couple more factors, and then I will invite our political editor, DK Singh, to make greater sense of some of these changes or maybe non-changes. So one interesting thing is, which indicates that India has now moved from one party rule to a genuine coalition rule. If you see this Council of Ministers, just look at the cabinet members. Of the 30 cabinet members, only 15, only 15 are from the RSS or ABVP or any of these Sangh Parivar organizations. The remaining are from elsewhere. And in fact, all the remaining who are from elsewhere are not necessarily from coalition partners. There are people like Hardeep Puri, Ashwini Vaishnaw, Nirmala Sitharaman, Jaishankar, who are all non-Sangathan people. When the BJP had come to power in 2014, BJP leaders had said that, look, we will only bring in ministers from our Sangathan, our organization, and where we don't find talent or good enough people or experienced people, we'll bring in civil servants, bureaucrats. Now, they did some of that towards the later half of Modi 1 and in some parts of Modi 2. Now that process seems to have reached a level. So, just half of the cabinet ministers now are from the RSS or ABVP. That's a big change. Other thing is, just see how many former chief ministers are in this cabinet. Prime Minister himself, Narendra Modi, Rajnath Singh, Defence Minister, he was Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, Manohar Lal Khattar, Chief Minister of Haryana, H.D. Kumaraswamy, former Chief Minister twice of Karnataka, such as he was, and Sarbananda Sonowal, former Chief Minister of Assam. So you can also see a lot of state personalities being accommodated, because all said and done, if you look at Madhya Pradesh, for example, the BJP, even though Shivraj Singh Chauhan had led the party to a famous victory in Madhya Pradesh against the run of blame, nobody had given them much chance. Even exit pollsters, opinion pollsters, most of them, barring one, that one had called it right. Barring that one, nobody had given the BJP such a chance in Madhya Pradesh. But Shivraj Singh Chauhan led it to a famous victory and yet was not given the chief ministership. And normally should have been chafing, but even if he was, he put his heart and soul into the campaign. In the process, the BJP swept Madhya Pradesh even more than they swept Gujarat. In Gujarat, they lost at least one seat to the Congress party. Madhya Pradesh is one state where they lost nothing to the Congress party. They swept it completely, 29 out of 29. Even the Chhindwara salient of Kamalnath family, even that was captured by the BJP for the first time since Narendra Modi led the party to power in Delhi. That was a big achievement. In fact, if you look at Madhya Pradesh and see the states, in every state abutting it, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, and to some extent even Gujarat, that one tribal constituency of Banaskantha in Gujarat, BJP suffered losses, very heavy losses in UP, very heavy losses in Maharashtra, where it lost the number one position, it became number two in each state. In Maharashtra, number 2 to Congress party. In UP, number 2 to Samajwadi party. In Rajasthan, it lost a lot of seats, even though it had just swept the assembly elections. Within this area, within this region, in the same neighborhood, Madhya Pradesh had 29 out of 29. So Shivraj Singh Chauhan had to be accommodated. Again in Haryana, the party had got Manohar Lal Khattar to give up his chief ministership to contest for parliament, and he had been replaced by Naib Singh Saini at the last moment. Doesn't look like that move worked very well in the state for Lok Sabha, because BJP lost half the seats, although they had won the last time with 58.2% vote. That said, he's also been accommodated. So one of the standout factors in this Council of Ministers also is the number of chief ministers accommodated in it. That said, we'll now have DK Singh take us through some of the nuances and intricacies of the change that's taken place. DK, after a very exciting week of counting and little bit of a flutter in terms of what kind of coalition it will be, looks like it's a fairly stable coalition where BJP calls the shots practically as much as it would in a full majority government.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the kind of portfolios that have been given to the allies, it's very clear BJP is calling the shots. The interesting thing is, when the Prime Minister was addressing the NDA meet, and when he said, "Na hum hare the, na hare hain," neither did we lose, nor have we lost. I thought it was a rhetorical point. He was trying to bolster the morale of the people, of his party cadres. But now you look at the list, Exactly the point. If you look at political messaging, at least looking at the cabinet ministers list, I don't really see much message coming out unless you see, as you were discussing, Manohar Lal Khattar is there on the cabinet list, but no Jat representation.
No Jat representation
So-
in the entire cabinet of 30,
Yeah.
the main cabinet.
Then you talk about Sarvdharm Sambha. You don't have a single Muslim in your entire 72-member Council of Ministers. Not even one. Now, if you had wanted to send some signal, probably you do not want to bring back Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi. So, if you have to send a signal from Kerala, you have brought George Kurian. You will be
As Minister of State.
as Minister of State, you will be giving a Raswa birth. You could have done that even now. I mean, for a Muslim, but you wouldn't do that. You did not want to send a message. So you don't really accept the fact that Hindutva has not worked. That signaling, that message you did not want to send. Of course, entire NDA, when you look at the entire contingent, there is not a single Muslim MP. So that could be the excuse.
In fact, if you look at the entire list of NDA Lok Sabha MPs, Lok Sabha, not Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha MPs, there is no Muslim, there is no Christian, and there is no Sikh.
Yeah.
That is quite a situation. So, of the Lok Sabha members, 295, 96, the final count, none from any of these minorities. So, to that extent, it was very much, it is very much a Hindu-Hindu alliance as well.
Yeah, exactly. But what I'm talking about is the intent. I mean, if you wanted to send a signal, you talked about Sarv Dharm Sambha. You could have brought in somebody, you could have given a Rasava, but you have done it to many persons. Many MOSs who have not been elected to the Lok Sabha. You have made them ministers of state, you could have given a Rasava birth later.
Yeah, because if you go back to 2014, there was Najma Heptullah, who was a cabinet minister, an import from Congress party,
Yes.
but a cabinet minister and a Muslim, minority affairs. Then there were Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi, minority affairs.
Yeah.
There was also MJ Akbar, Minister of State. Now there is no such effort. And you see that as a political message?
It's a message because we saw what happened with the Hindutva pitch. It didn't really work, and the entire country is talking about how this Hindutva pitch has not worked, this entire Hindu-Muslim polarization. After that, you heard the Prime Minister talking about Sarv Dharm Sambha. You thought he would be sending a message. That message didn't come.
Yeah. So the second big question, again you have to answer it. Is it right to say that the message of this cabinet seems to be that the Prime Minister is saying my government worked all right. If there's been a setback in the elections, the fault may lie with the party or the organization or the campaign.
Even with the party, it's difficult to say. When you bring JP Nadda as a minister, you're not even blaming the party. Now, JP Nadda in his home state, the party had lost. Then as the party president, he presided over the...
Party had lost in the assembly.
In the assembly
Lok
election.
Sabha, they've done very well.
No, in 2024 Lok Sabha also, I mean, you lost a majority. Overall, I'm talking about this election.
Nationally.
Yeah.
Nationally.
So if you have to send a signal, the signal doesn't have to be that you bring the same party president to the cabinet and drop a younger minister from his state just because you have to accommodate JP Nadda.
That was Anurag Thakur.
Anurag Thakur.
Because you couldn't have had two ministers from a small state like Himachal.
Yeah. And as for governance, so what this list also tells us that you have a set of ministers who the Prime Minister has identified. Like they will be the performers. Rest you can juggle around, even portfolios. Now you look at the portfolio of skill development. It has gone to Jayant Chaudhary,
Right.
the RLD. He is Minister of State with independent charge. You look at the ministers of skill development. Skill India was the big slogan in 2014. Every second or third year, a minister has been changed. It started with Rajiv Pratap Rudy, who was Minister of State with independent charge. In 2014, in 2017, it went to Dharmendra Pradhan. 2019, it was brought to Mahendranath Pandey. Then again, it went back to Dharmendra Pradhan. And now it is with Jayant Chaudhary. If with that slogan in mind, look at the way the portfolio has been juggled between ministers. Now, and you were talking about, HR thing. Now, Rao Indrajit Singh is Minister of State Independent Charge. I mean, I don't even know for how long he has been MOS Independent Charge. Probably since UPA days. He has always been an MOS Independent Charge with this almost the same portfolios. So, what kind of message is it sending? You have MOS like, okay, I can understand Ramdas Athavale, you don't want to drop him, and you don't really appreciate his work. So he has been MOS forever.
Yeah, Rao Inderjit Singh is a Minister of State Independent Charge for Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, Minister of State for Ministry of Planning, and there's no Planning Commission, but there is still a Ministry of Planning. We've dumped 5-year plans, but there is Ministry of Planning, and Minister of State in the Ministry of Culture.
Now, MSME, you would think that MSME is such an important portfolio. When it was given to Gadkari as an additional charge, we all thought that government wanted to push this sector post demonetization. Now you have given it to Jitan Ram Majhi. We know his governance record from Bihar.
I was just saying that he was actually the keenest of the ministers, new ministers, to be sworn in. He was so keen that he arrived almost an hour and a half earlier. So please see this picture on your screens. That's a picture taken by Praveen Jain, our national photo editor. He was sitting there by himself long before anybody had arrived. He was briefly the chief minister. In fact, when I was counting the list of former chief ministers, I overlooked Jitaram Manjhi because he was there for a very short time, but that's no excuse for me to have forgotten it. So once again, I stand corrected. Jitan Ram Manjhi, former chief minister also, and now he's got MSME. Carry on.
Then you have another ministry, textiles. Again, post-demonetization, post-COVID, you thought there will be some thrust. You have given it to Giriraj Singh. I mean, what do you remember about Giriraj Singh's performance in his previous ministries? Just, again, pushed away. Ministry of Tribal Affairs, which is actually symbolic. I mean, if you look at it, the last time we heard something about this is what Tribal Affairs has done. It's just a stamping authority, some infrastructure thing is happening. You have to get the approval, you go there. Jewel Odom, when the ministry was created, Tribal Affairs was created in 1999 by Atal Bihari Vajpayee.
25 years ago.
He was the first Tribal Affairs Minister. When Narendra Modi comes as Prime Minister, he becomes the Tribal Affairs Minister. Now again he is the Tribal Affairs Minister. Nothing has changed for the Tribal Affairs Ministry for the last 25 years. Again, what kind of message? I don't know. But I would rather look at some political messages here, which are not coming from the cabinet list at least. Yeah, I can say that when we are talking about G. Kishan Reddy being brought back, being retained.
From Telangana.
Yeah, so he was sent there as Telangana BJP president. He has been retained now in the new government. So, of course, there will be a new Telangana BJP president because Bandi Sanjay has also been brought here.
Who was formerly the Telangana BJP president.
Yes.
So both are now in the Council of Ministers.
Both are in Council of Ministers. Now Bandi Sanjay, the promotion he has got is he is Amit Shah's deputy. He is Minister of State for Home. So that's kind of promotion for him along with Nityanand Rai. So that is one signal. Again, C.R. Patil getting Jal Shakti. Now Gajendra Singh Shekhawat. He was there for so long and he was being appreciated for his work. At least that's what was being told to us by all the BJP leaders who would meet us. Now he's shifted out. If he was not performing well, why did you retain him in the cabinet? If he was performing well, why to shift him? There are many questions here. But I'm talking about the political messaging through this MOS list. Jitin Prasad, again, I'm surprised. Jitin Prasad was a minister in...
He was an MOS a long time back in
Manmohan Singh
UPA.
government. Yeah,
Manmohan Singh government.
So if you did not have to promote him, why to bring him from Uttar Pradesh?
Yeah. Or at least give him
something.
Charge,
Yes.
Because he's got some experience.
Now you have, yes, again, V. Somanna. Now this is again another signal coming from Karnataka. Somanna is a Lingayat, and then you have Shobha Karandlaje, who is a Vokaliga. Both have been made MOS. Now you have H.D. Kumaraswamy, a Vokaliga leader, as a cabinet minister. And then from the BJP side, you have one Lingayat, one Vokaliga.
Both MOS.
Both MOS. Both are close to Yediyurappa. So at least he has got his people, the ministries. But the thing is, the message back in Karnataka would be that you have, what have you done? In Vokolega, the entire thing you have given to the JDS, and you are doing some symbolic, giving symbolic representation for the BJP.
Although portfolios Kumaraswamy has got are not such heavy duty, it's just called heavy industries, but counts for zilch.
That's true.
And there is steel. There is steel which might have some juice, if I may say so. Not so much heavy industry.
He would have preferred agriculture ministry. That was what was being basically talked about in JDS circles.
But I know that JDS is great at exercising leverage. How much leverage is 2 Lok Sabha seats, particularly when your nephew is in jail with pretty bad charges?
Then I'm looking at L. Murugan. He was in MOS earlier
yes.
also. He has been retained. He lost the Lok Sabha seat to A. Raja from the Nilgiris. I was there, I had met Raja there. That's why I remember. The kind of, he was running a great campaign. He lost anyway. But now you have retained him. You have not brought Annamalai here. The message is, one would think that there is some kind of signaling to the AIA-DMK also, because AIA-DMK has huge problem with Annamalai. Even after the results, actually, E. Palaniswamy has made it clear that AIA-DMK will not have any tie-up with the BJP. But if that was the case, the BJP should have promoted Annamalai. And both come from the western side of the state. Both are Gounders. So if you had to target the AIA-DMK, EPS, you would have promoted Annamalai more. You have not brought him. You have brought Murugan, who has lost the election. Again, you will be giving a Rasa.
So this looks like, well, Annamalai also lost it, but he looks more like the future. So once again, it seems to be preference for status quo than the future.
Or probably you are keeping the window open that don't promote Annamalai much. Probably at some point of time before the assembly election, AIA-DMK relents. But it also depends. We have to see if Annamalai continues as a state BJP chief till the next assembly election. Probably the party leadership may have a different thing, different idea. But not bringing him here came as a surprise, and many of his fans are pretty disappointed in Tamil Nadu.
You also sound like one.
I like him. He's quite a dynamic guy.
he's actually quite an interesting.
I don't really agree with everything he says. There are many controversial things he keeps saying, but he's very dynamic. Another interesting thing is we talked about Suresh Gopi, the first MP of the BJP Kerala. From Kerala ever. In the morning, there was a lot of debate on the flutter that he did not want to join because he did not get a cabinet berth. And when I had gone to his constituency, there were cardboard, placards everywhere. If he becomes, if the exact words I'm missing, it's like if people of Thrissur choose him, send him to the Lok Sabha, Modi will make him a cabinet minister. So quite a disappointment for him, because he used to be a big superstar of Kerala. For him to become an MOS of an insignificant, I won't say insignificant minister because it's petroleum and natural gas, but what role?
No, but he has a very significant minister on top of that is a Puri.
So what role he will have? He has to be disappointed. But again, Suresh Gopi, although the BJP has showcased it as a big triumph of the BJP in Kerala, first MP. But the fact is, Suresh Gopi is not exactly, it does not show you the BJP's organic growth in Kerala, because he has his own fan following. I was in his constituency. He was getting votes from Muslims, he was getting votes from Christians. So it's not exactly the organic growth. We'll see what happens. How happy he is, how long he is there, we'll have to see. Because Suresh Gopi, don't forget, he is way back, he was in SFI. And he had even...
So SFI is Student Federation of India, which is a student wing of the CPM.
And once he had even campaigned for Achyutanandan.
I see.
So let's see how the BJP treats him and how happy he is.
So he is not a Sangathan person in any case?
No. But he did a lot of charity work in Thrissur. That also worked for him. His popularity as a film star and this. And of course, Ravneet Singh Bittu, let's see how it works for him. You know him better, his constituency better.
Well, I knew his grandfather much better, Sardar Beyan Singh, who was Chief Minister of Punjab and was unfortunately assassinated. And one of the issues in Punjab right now is about the demand for the release of some of his assassins, who it is said have completed more than a life term, so they should be let go, like Rajiv Gandhi's assassins. So that's an issue there, but he lost his election, and he's got Minister of State for Food Processing Industries and Railways. Just as an aside, when Akali Dal was a partner with the BJP, and Harsimrat Kaur Badal was a cabinet minister. The portfolio she was given was also food processing.
Yeah, well, she was a cabinet minister.
And she was a cabinet minister.
And I don't know, he must be wringing his hands in despair because he was fined of Rahul Gandhi when he started that whole democratization exercise in Youth Congress. Then internal elections were held. And Ramneet Singh Bittu was one of those youngsters who came out of that exercise. And he has been close to Rahul Gandhi all through. Suddenly, before the election, he decides to jump the ship. And I won't say sinks, because he is a minister now, but he loses the election.
Well, I saw one video where he says that I didn't want to contest and win for a third time and still sit in the opposition. So he's got a better deal. He's contested, lost, and is still not in the opposition. He's in the government. So that's better than sitting in the opposition, I presume, from his point of view.
And one last thing I would like to say about this MOS is, look at this Pavitra Margarita. He is Minister of State for External Affairs. He is very close to Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma. So here you have Sarma's stamp on the Modi Council of Ministers.
So Margarita is actually among the most beautiful parts of our country, most beautiful scenic parts of our country. So if you get a chance to go to Assam, please drive up or take a train up or maybe fly to Dibrugarh or Jorhat and drive to Margarita. It's a beautiful part of the country and very unusual part of the country as well. And I'm quite happy that a minister actually carries the name of that place.
Pavitra Margarita, yeah.
Something that I said earlier, and I will now put it to DK, which is what does it say for BJP's HR process and policies? I have praised it in the past, but if you look at this cabinet, continuity is all right. But good HR also should look at the future. This is not a cabinet of the future. This is not a cabinet to go beyond 2029. So the use by date of this cabinet is mostly 2029. In fact, if you look at the top ministers, most of them will have completed 75 years of age in the next 3 years.
Not the big ones. Amit Shah is 59. Gadkari can go for another term. Shivraj Singh Chauhan, he's just 65. So, not all of them, but yes, overall, Manohar Lal Khattar, what do we expect from him? He's hardly an investment, it's not an HR-driven policy. Some of them you can say, Jyotiraj Scindia, of course, he's pretty young. You have Dharmendra Pradhan, Piyush Goyal, then you have Bhupendra Yadav. They will be there for a couple of terms, but they have already been here for a while. So when we talk about new investments in HR policies, we don't see any
discovery of new talent.
Yeah,
because all of these people were like new talent discovered in 2014.
Yeah, it has stagnated that way.
And every new cabinet, for example, last time Ashwini Vaishnaw came in, Hardeep Puri came in. This was new talent. This time there doesn't seem to be any scope for new talent. Is it because of the need to accommodate allies? Or
I think that should be the primary reason. But say somebody like, you have brought Jitin from UP, you could have brought, say, Tejasvi Surya from Bangalore.
Right.
I mean, he's so articulate, he's good.
And very modern.
Very modern, but he didn't get any chance. But Surya is still young. He's just a second term MP. Look at Dushyant, Vasundhara Raje's son. Okay, you have issues with Vasundhara Raje, you have sidelined her. But Dushyant has been, it's his fifth consecutive term. And he finds no place, nothing in the party, nothing in the government.
That's a very interesting finding. It's generally headline-free cabinet formation and portfolio allocation. But DK, make no mistakes, we are headed for very interesting political times, very exciting political times. And I think you will agree with me that we are finally going to find a spicy parliament, which we have missed all these 10 years.
Oh yes, it's going to be fun after a long time. As a political reporter, I'm pretty happy about this.
Look at the smile on his face. So thank you, DK, for your wisdom as always.
Thanks.